Hello. Hope you're having a wonderful day today. I'm doing well. Ow.
Smooth entrance.
Smooth as a baby's bottom.
That was like James Bond smooth. Like,
What is going on with you guys? Hope you're having a wonderful day. It's been a great day so far for me. I am sweating though. It is hot. It is so hot here. My goodness, it went from winter to summer overnight. But guys, today we're going to be checking out what do Brits really love about the UK. Never looked into this topic before, but I'm very curious. What are those things that you guys enjoy about your country the most?
yeah. And what can we learn before we come over that we could maybe appreciate?
Yeah, recently we did learn about what the British public were saying that tourists should not do under any circumstances when they come to the UK.
Yeah.
So now we're going to be checking out, well, something similar, what you guys love about your own country.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're going to ramble anymore, guys. We're going to go ahead and jump in here and check out what you love about the UK.
In this video, I'll be asking British people what they love about the UK, so you know what to look forward to. What do you love about the UK?
But yeah, my love's flange. I think that's a big love.
What?
What did he say?
What did he say?
Flange.
Yeah, flange.
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 I feel like I'm saying something inappropriate.
Yeah, I feel like that's very
Flange?
dirty. Flange. I've heard it before.
Heard of flan?
What is flange? Oh, goodness, guys. I don't know what flange is.
I think the reason I think it's dirty is because of mange or mange. Or
Oh, yeah, yeah.
however you say it.
I don't know, guys. Let's go with flanges.
I don't think it's the same thing.
I don't either.
What's flange?
Just fanny, mate. To be honest, like
Oh,
that's about it. To be honest.
The football.
Yeah, football's
Wait.
good. Football is good laugh, ain't it?
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
confused.
What do you love about the UK?
I don't know. What is good about the UK?
Oh, Scotland's in the UK, so you can say something about Scotland if you want to.
The people in Scotland are good. Yeah, good party people. Yeah, like different varieties of people, like different cultures. I like that.
Any kind of cultures in particular that you've like maybe dabbled into, you've liked
Dabbled
seeing their
into.
stuff?
Africans. I like learning about Africa and stuff like that. Like that's quite interesting.
Okay.
But anything really.
Thank you. What do you love about the UK or like about the UK?
Very easygoing. Well, I find it. Not many people will agree, but I think it's very easygoing paced. You know what's what. Very easy to live in here, I think.
What do you love about the
very easygoing. Would you guys also say that in the UK you feel like your lives are very easygoing?
Yeah, and she said, did she say slower pace?
I think she
Or
said
was
slower paced, yeah.
I love that there are so many different areas. You can be in a city like London, or you can be in, you know, the hills in the Lake District, or you can be, there's just so many different kind of types of countryside or city, and it's all super accessible.
Yeah,
I start
you
saying
can
very
be
close
coast,
together.
You can be in
Yeah.
the mountain. It's just all right here.
Awesome. You should work on a tour guide. You sound fantastic.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, sign me up.
What do you love about the UK?
I think I'm going to have to say how dog friendly it is, and I like how accessible everything is. You can be in the beautiful Lake District in like 3 hours.
What she just
you
said,
can be
the
at
other
the
one.
seaside in a couple of hours, like from King's Cross, you know. I think I like that the most.
Great. Fantastic.
Seasons. I like having the proper seasons, spring, autumn and winter and summer.
I like 4 seasons.
Oh,
Flood.
what season is that? The flood
living
season?
near the coast. I like living near the
It's
coast.
beautiful, right? You get to see it all the time.
Yeah.
Great.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think that would probably be one of my favorite things if I lived in the UK, guys.
Just
is
how
that,
close you are to the mountains and the sea
right.
at the same time.
Like when I grew up in North Carolina, I grew up like right between the mountains and the beach. But it still took quite a while to get to either.
Yeah.
You know, because North Carolina is a very long state. So it would take me many hours to get to the mountains and 3 hours or so to get to the beach. But I bet being able to have such access to, what is it, 70 miles? You're no further than 70 miles from the coast, no
That's
matter where
pretty
you're
cool.
at.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
that would be very appealing.
That's very appealing.
No, you know, that's kind of a tough one. Ooh, I feel like I'm from down south. The stereotype is like people are quite cold, but one thing that I love is like when you pry in a little bit, everyone's actually really nice. Like when you pry into people a little bit, like if you're in the pub and you start chatting to someone, like everyone's actually really nice. So yeah, that's my hot take.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay, what do you, nothing, I'd quite like to leave. Okay, why do you want to leave? Bit of adventure, bit of change. Okay. Things a bit dull.
I love there's always something to do no matter what you're into, especially like music, art, that sort of thing. Something on pretty much every night.
What's your favourite thing to do in the UK?
Go to gigs.
Go to
See my
gigs.
favourite artists live. There's always someone I like here.
What's the best?
There's a lot of music, obviously, that we've learned has come out of the UK.
Oh my goodness, guys.
So I could imagine there would be a lot, like a really good music scene.
As I'm sure most of you know by now, on our Patreon channel, we specifically look at British and Irish music. And we have been blown away by how many different groups have came out of the UK specifically.
Yeah, and there's been so many times we've gone into a suggestion that someone has requested for a certain band or artist, and we're like, oh, we've never heard them.
Right.
And we'll get into it, and come to find out, no, it's a super popular song that we've heard. We just
One
don't
of their
know.
songs, yeah. We always know like that one song, but don't know any others.
Yeah.
It's been a really fun journey, but you guys obviously have an amazing music culture. I can imagine going to gigs probably would be one of the top things people
Yeah,
love
they're really
doing
cool.
that live there.
Gig that you went to?
Charlie XCX, yeah.
Nice. Where was that?
That was at the O2.
What do you love about the UK?
My best friend's here.
That's good.
That's good.
So you love your friends?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what do you love about the UK?
Well, not the weather. I like, to be honest, I like the fact it's like, it's going to sound a bit cheesy, but like, I feel it's a kind of a big melting pot with a lot of people from all over the world living here, and you go to other places, it's not the same. But I think that's a good thing about us. I think we're kind of pretty tolerant, I think, for the most part.
I like the food, the atmosphere, the restaurants, the bars and the coffee shops.
The coffee shops.
Yeah, I love my cappuccino.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you love or like about the UK?
Right. The countryside, the nature, Christmas in London.
Oh, I
I
bet.
bet it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Which part of the countryside do you like and would you recommend to people?
Oh my gosh. Norfolk for the skies, they're amazing.
For the skies?
Cornwall, Yorkshire, it's just Scotland. The landscape in Scotland's incredible.
What do you love about the UK?
Nothing. No, I love London. It is good as much as it's disgusting and that. It's quite dirty here, which I've started to realise. When I come here every morning, it's sick everywhere and like.
Ew.
But I like music. Music
Music
music's
again.
good.
What's your favourite music that you've had in, like, you've experienced in the UK?
Oh, I like all music. Yeah, all music. There's not much music I don't like.
Any recommendations to anyone?
But music?
Yeah, to do in London or the UK?
Oh, to do in London or UK? Oh, you got to come to London. If it's Christmas time, you want to come to King's Cross and try
Christmas
and cook the
again.
pancakes. But you want to go to Winter Wonderland, Hyde Park, that's good. Soho's good. Covent Garden's good. I like Brick Lane. That's good. That's a good buzz around there. I'd go there. Not as many people go there.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
You know, I would say pretty much any large city I've gone to definitely has its dirtiness to it. I mean,
I think, yeah, that just comes with the territory of a large city.
right, like, I mean, you think about Bangkok, for example. I really like Bangkok, but it was a big city. A lot of smog, a lot of pollution, a lot of people, and it had some dirtiness to it. Even though they did a pretty good job of trying to keep the malls and stuff like that really clean. You know, out on the street it's pretty impossible. Pretty much impossible. You always got people coming by and littering and doing their thing, and you know, I think if you're going to be in a big city, you kind of got to somewhat expect that it's going to be dirtier than smaller areas.
Right.
Except I have heard of some places like in Japan where
Isn't Singapore like really clean?
Yeah, I've heard that as
Yeah.
well. You know, Singapore supposedly is very clean for a large city, but yeah.
And what do you love about the UK?
The people.
Yeah?
Yeah, the vibe, the people, the architecture.
Yes.
Just living here, really.
Yes.
If you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
77.
As somebody who's 77, probably lived through a lifetime of experiences, what's one great life lesson that you've learned?
Tolerance. Just being nice, being a nice person, living your life as you should. Just being a nice person, really.
What do you love about the UK?
I think we have a lot of freedoms, but we don't have as many freedoms as we think we do. But by and large, we are a fairly tolerant society, and I think that's a good thing. And we work with each other. I think by and large, we all try to get on with each other.
Fantastic, thank you so much. What do you love about the UK?
I think generally the people are nice. I like that there is a freedom, and I think I feel safe here. I do feel feel safe here. Never wanted to stay in the UK, but I'm still here 30 years on. So yeah, it's not a bad island to live on.
Then what do you love about London or the UK?
I mean, obviously it's my home, but it's a big city. It's got everything in it, anything you can need, isn't it?
What do you love about the UK?
Gonna have to think about that one.
All right.
Well, it's my home, so I like that you can get from place to place quite quickly. Despite the train fares being expensive, you know, we can access different parts of the UK very easily, which is nice for a wider community. I've lived in Wales for a while, that was nice. Got friends all around, so just connectivity of it feels really, really lovely. So I quite like how I think we're quite inclusive, especially London, you know, it's very diverse, multicultural, and, you know, that's just normal, and I feel like we're very accepting. You know, I've been, you know, to places, I have friends that live, you know, in other countries, in places that are quite isolated, and, you know, they've come here to visit, and they've, you know, they've been like shocked because, you know, everyone there, you know, is like very white, and, you know, for them they're like completely shocked by it. So I think that's quite nice that we have that as a nation.
What do you love about the UK?
Definitely not the weather. I like the people. Yeah, seriously, I do. I like diversity, different people, nationalities and all that. Yeah, man, it's safe, man.
What do you love about the UK?
Fish and chips.
Yes!
That's a new one. Fish and chips?
Yes!
That's your go-to?
Yeah.
Any particular place that you love their fish and chips?
The one in my village.
Yeah. And what do you love about the UK?
I like the architecture. I like the countryside is nice, and the people are really nice. Everyone's really nice here, I reckon.
Which architecture in particular? Which countryside?
I don't really know that many architects.
What countryside? Which countryside have you seen that you really like?
Oh, I like Sussex. I like Northumberland. I think is beautiful as well. Wales, Pembrokeshire. Yeah, nice.
What do you love about the UK?
I'm very privileged, like, to grow up in a country like this. Like, especially in London, it's very like diverse culturally. You can go to see loads of different sites. We can go to like where I study in Leeds. Like, it's very different, but it's a beautiful place. Like York, I like to visit loads of different places in the UK.
What's the best thing that you like to do in York? Or, I mean, not in York. In York and in Leeds, the best places?
Leeds, there's a lot of pubs, parties,
Pubs.
clubs, like a few beautiful churches in the city centre in Leeds. There's a nice, beautiful church. I like to look at it anyway.
And where in the UK are you from?
The Midlands, in London.
London. Midlands, born and bred?
No, I was born in London. London, yeah. My family, yeah.
So the next question is, what do you love about the UK?
I think London, specifically, because it's a big city, there's lots of opportunities, lots of things to do.
I mean, sometimes I feel like at Euros and stuff, it's like a good atmosphere, everyone like sort of comes together. And like, we do festivals as well, pub culture.
Pub culture, again.
You talked about the Euros. What particular do you love about London? Or
I think the nightlife, the community, well, I would say it's obviously a lot of people, but I think there's lots of things to do.
Where would you recommend in terms of the nightlife?
I think Camden, there's a lot of things to do there, like Camden Locks around that area.
And what do you love about the UK?
I like the diversity. I like the choice of things to do. I like the fact that lots of things are free that weren't before.
What do you recommend that's free to do in the UK?
All the museums, art galleries.
All of them? I don't think all of them. Surely not.
We have a lot of dance classes, Pilates. Yeah, no, I love London.
If you don't mind saying, you could absolutely refuse. How old are you?
I'm 81.
As somebody who's 81, you know, you've lived through 8 decades of life, which is amazing. What's some of the biggest lessons or greatest lesson you've learned in those 81 years of life?
I think I've learned a lot about a lot of other cultures that I wouldn't have known about. I've learned some negative things too. I actually don't like the way that communities aren't communities anymore, particularly in London. And that's partly because the housing is so bad, and I worry about housing.
So we've heard.
I worry about homelessness. So yeah, there are lots of concerns, but I actually love it.
That's something I think is pretty the same here in the US.
What?
Like, a lot of times communities don't feel like communities anymore. Like you don't know your neighbors, you don't like, it's just so closed off, and I think a lot of that has to do with the internet.
Yes, I was about to say social media, internet. Yeah.
But at the same time, a lot of communities don't foster.
No.
Like, I think where we live is a very rare thing.
Yes, I started to say that's one of the reasons why I love this town so much, is that the town goes out of their way to not only to improve things about the town, they're always building things like new playgrounds for kids and stuff like that, but they also throughout the year put on so many community events and try to keep the community as a community.
Intermingling and
Right.
being around each other instead of just in your house.
And I think that obviously becomes harder to do in a large city like
Yeah.
London. You know, I mean, I guess in some ways it is, in some ways, little communities, little neighborhoods, yeah. So I don't really know the reasons why that couldn't be together like used to anymore, but probably the internet has a huge thing to do with it. I mean, even today, we know that the current youngest generation,
they're not social.
They're not social on the levels that all previous generations have been.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, I think things like pubs probably do a very good job of keeping
that's a good point.
people social.
At least older generations.
Right.
I don't know about the younger generations. At least here in the U.S., I think it's pretty uncommon for younger people to drink or go out and
not a lot.
And socialize like that.
Yeah. There's both pros and cons to that, right? But the con is that they're obviously not socializing at the levels they used to. And that's unfortunate, you know.
What advice would you give to somebody who is in their teens or 20s or 30s trying to find their way in life?
I would say be open to things, to actually prepared to do without sometimes, because I think my generation were better at doing without things because it was just after the Second World War. We had rationing. We didn't have a lot of food when we were kids. So I think, it's a bit about learning to get on with other people, to actually give and take, to accept that some people won't love you, but other people will, and just to every morning to think about something positive.
I think she had a lot of really good advice for younger generations.
Yeah, she absolutely does. Kind of what we were just talking about a little bit, and she obviously notices some of those trends probably. Guys, I love this. I love the man on the street style videos.
Or woman.
It's called a man on the street style video.
I was just being funny.
But yeah, I thought this was really fascinating to see what the locals, this was specifically London, but most of these answers I think probably would be answers a lot of people in a lot of other areas throughout the UK would probably share as well.
And a few of the people he interviewed weren't from London.
Really?
Yeah, there was someone, like a couple of the girls in the beginning were Scottish.
Not from London, but from the UK. Yeah. But mostly what I heard was that overall, people love the architecture. Me, that's one of the things I would love about living over there. Fish and chips, obviously. That is one of my favorite things. I can never get it, but I wish I could get it. And I'm jealous of you guys. Being on an island, you have such easy access to so many fish and chip shops. I think a lot of people probably take that for granted over there because it's so accessible.
Readily available.
Yes.
Another thing along that similar point is a lot of people were mentioning access to everything.
Yes.
Like access to the beach and the countryside and everything being somewhat close enough to travel to.
Yes, I can totally appreciate that. Like I love that. Where we're at now, we have access to a lot of things that I like, but we are very far from the coast. I wish magically I could be a little closer to the coast.
I just wish, like we've talked about recently, they would open up train lines like there are everywhere else, and we could travel more easily.
That reminds me, I was going to pause there, but they got to talking and I forgot to pause.
The girl who was saying it was expensive?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm curious, guys. I thought trains were really cheap, right?
Maybe it's just her perspective. Like she hasn't.
But if she doesn't own a car, it's like, go ahead and own a car and tell me it's expensive to take a train then. It depends on how often you're going to take them, I guess. But to me, I'm just picturing that, for, I don't know, 10 pounds, you can probably travel quite a distance on a train. I think. I don't know. Let us know in the comments what it costs on average to get a train throughout the UK. I don't know if it's more expensive than London or not, but either way. And one of the big things that everybody was bringing up was the people. They were talking about how nice everyone is and whatnot. Yeah. And I think that's probably true.
And someone mentioned that, one of the girls mentioned that on the surface, it seems like people aren't friendly, but I think that's just because maybe more introverted, you stick to yourself, you're quiet, unless someone is going out of their way to like get to know you or say something to you.
I also think that has a lot to do with being in London, being in a large city.
Yeah.
When we're talking about the UK as a whole, I think it's kind of the same as you'd find here. You're going to find more of the kind of closed off personality in cities in general.
That's
because
true.
people,
everyone's in a hurry.
right?
They're trying to get where they're
You
going.
you see so many people out on the street. You walk out your door and you're seeing hundreds of people within a matter of minutes, right? But like, for example, we live in a town. This guy roughly 17,000 people or something like that, and you can literally go out to, for example, go for a walk around the block or whatever, and I might walk for 30 minutes and I might not see anybody really outside.
Not much. Maybe a couple cars drive by.
Right, but nobody, generally speaking, a lot of times I won't see anybody if I'm walking on a sidewalk or something.
Yeah.
Or if I go to the park, a lot of times there won't be anyone there.
Which kind of blows my mind. We've got a lot of parks.
We got a lot of parks for this small town.
And a decent sized town, but yet somehow there's hardly ever anybody else.
I know, and it's so annoying when it comes to like, we're like, okay, we're going to take Sophia down to the park, hoping for other kids to be there, and it's like, no kids. It's like, where are you guys at? Right? It's like, 5 p.m. Where are you at? Right?
Yeah.
But guys, this was awesome. I love this video. I love this style of video. Let us know in the comments, what do you think about the answers these locals were giving about what they loved in the UK? Do you feel the same? What would you add to this list? What are some of the things that weren't mentioned here that you personally love about the UK?
Yeah.
Guys, I think that's it for today. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please click that like button. Feel free to drop your comments or suggestions about this video or others. And don't forget to subscribe, guys. We are getting very close to 100,000 subscribers. I mean, at this rate, I think we'll be there, I don't know, within the next week or 2 max. I don't even think it'll take 2 weeks. But
it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting, and it's like just a wow moment. It's like, this snuck up on us, because I was seeing when we were like 90,000 or whatever, and it just seemed like it was gonna, be a while still. And here we are. And we thank each and every one of you who subscribed. We thank each and every one of you who have been with us on this journey and who are watching this video. We appreciate you. But I think that's it, guys. Until next time, peace.